Alrighty. So part of me would have loved to have like a super formal plan in place for the launch of this video blog podcast thing. But the reality is that if I waited until I had all of that together, I wouldn't be here with you today. So here's how this is going to go down. In true manifestor style, I am going to tell you where I think we're going with this podcast and try to kick it off. And we'll start out with some themes. And then the episodes to follow will dig more deeply into what a manifestor actually is in human design and how that's defined, and like more about human design and which version of it I kind of subscribe to and why. And like all of those bits and pieces are juicy, and I understand that, and we will get there. But in the meantime, this is also an outlet for me to start using as part of my own inner work process. And that could get messy. So if you stop enjoying it, it won't hurt my feelings if you run off. But in the meantime, I'm going to kind of go through some of the concepts that I've been playing with, which are the reasons that inspired me to create this video blog about what it means to be a manifestor. So, taking a moment. So I've decided to call this video blog Manifestor Life because I love words. And one, I want this to be easy for people to find who are other manifestors that are looking for a blog about what it is like to be a manifestor. And it also sounds like manifest your life, manifestor life. And it's also 2 words, which is simple, keeping it simple. So I checked enough boxes with that name, and we'll see where it goes. But my design type, and I will also share my chart with the group so that everybody can kind of get some context around what type of manifestor I am and how my manifestor-ness might be different than somebody else's manifestor-ness because of other things going on in my chart, and et cetera, et cetera. But suffice it to say that at this point, I am associating with the chart in human design that has been generated based on my birth information. And it resonates with me. Like what it says that I would experience in my life are things that I have experienced significantly. And so the chart that I have is a profile of 2-4, a type of manifestor, and my strategy and authority. So to inform, because I'm a manifestor. But my so my strategy is to inform, and my authority is splenic. So that means it's SPLENIC. That means that I make decisions based on the spleen symbolism in the human design chart. And it's a complicated-ish authority, but it essentially means that I do not necessarily make decisions based on my immediate gut response to something. And which is the way that most people have a reaction, since most people are generators or manifesting generators. And that's how they respond. But then they will have like an emotional or a sacral authority. And I don't think generators can have a splenic authority, but I could be wrong on that. Again, I'm not an expert here to tell you all about human design. There are a million other people out there that can do that for you. But I am a splenic manifestor, and so that's what I associate with. And that's kind of what I'm operating under when I'm talking about what it is like to be me as a manifestor. So I have not been doing human design very long, maybe 5 months at this point, maybe 6 months at the most. And I've read a handful of books about it. I've been online. I've watched several videos, and I attended a international conference hosted by Karen Curry Parker and the publishing company. What's that called? This is actually a different publishing company. Anyways, I'll have all that information on the website available. But Karen Curry Parker is a goddess of human design, and she took an older version downloaded by a gentleman who named himself Ra Uruhu, and she made the system more palatable and added some feminine touches that seem to be appreciated by a lot of people, and is helping human design to be more easily introduced to the general public. And in other words, it takes a lot of the woo-woo out of the Ra Uruhu stuff. There's plenty in there, don't you worry, but it kind of makes it softer. The language changes in a way that makes it more palatable. In my mind, it's almost like the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament in the Bible. So Ra's version would be the Old Testament, and Karen Curry Parker's would be the New Testament. So yeah. I loved the conference. It was a great conference. It's in its infancy, like the 4th year, maybe. And human design is not really that very popular right now yet. It's getting there, but like most people don't know what that is. If you say, "Hey, have you heard of human design?" and their brain is going to be like, I feel like I should know what that is because these are simple words, but I don't know what that is. No. So anyways, we'll get more into that, but I am a splenic manifestor, and I really associate with a lot of the archetypal language around what it means to be a manifestor. So I've heard things like manifestors are considered fire starters, and I can totally relate to that. So like I go around starting fires, and my job is to get fires started in people's lives. I lift the illusion of what they think is perfect and working great in their life. And I'm like, are you sure that's going the way you think it's going? It feels awfully controlled. And they just kind of look at me and they're like, fuck. Sorry, I'm going to cuss on this. And yeah, so I destroy the illusions of people's worlds, and other manifestors will do different things with their fire starting abilities, but that's what I do. Is I tear down the illusion of people's worlds by lighting fires and asking questions, and literally just by showing up in their presence and showing them parts of myself that I am totally okay with that make them uncomfortable. And then they have to face why they're uncomfortable, because I didn't do anything. I just was being there. And then it brings out the judginess in people, and they hate that part of themselves, so they may react badly to me. And in the past, I thought that I was doing something wrong. And so did society. So society would condition me to not be okay with those parts of myself that I was okay with, that was making that person uncomfortable. And this is one of the epiphanies that I've had with being a manifestor. This is one of the gifts that human design can give you as a manifestor, is being able to reflect back on those relationships with people that you love and they love you, but they hurt you and broke parts of your self-esteem, and you don't understand why. And they don't understand why they did it. And now it's awkward, and they're going to have to do weird shit your whole life to try to make up for that. And it's just going to perpetuate a weird cycle. And yeah. So long story short, that's just one of the observations that I have experienced in this insight journey of deciding whether or not I am truly associating with, and if it resonates with me, that some system calls me a manifestor and what that means. So I don't want to make these too long, so peace out, and I'll be back later.